Hello, hello, hello. It's Crafty Chris here again for a Thursday night Scrap Your Scraps. Well, after playing with this system that we talked about last week, I ran into some problems that I didn't like. First of all, with the orientation of the papers, it made my album go really fat at the bottom and really skinny at the top. So it doesn't fit well into my where I was planning to store it. The other thing is that everything ends up on this end, and it's hard to get at because you have to reach all the way in to get whatever you want. And it's an awful large space. So I have redesigned the pages, and I'm going to walk you through it so that you can see that it's more evenly spread out, much easier to reach, and it is nothing that isn't out there that you can buy pre-done. So if your time is the problem and not the money, then you can certainly buy these already done. But here is how to switch over pages that you don't use. For instance, like this, what did I call those? These were side loading pages. So I just never liked the side loading pages, and now I'm going to use up my side loading pages for doing this project. And it's really not that much more work. You just have to approach it in a particular way. So that's what I'm going to show you today. Whoop, there we go, got some focus. Here is my side loading page. I am not going to remove I am temporarily going to remove the white page from inside it, and what I'm gearing towards is creating 2 6-inch pockets on each side of the page. Okay, so that it's much easier to store things in, easier to get at. It's a short distance, but you can still get those 12 by 12 pieces in if you need to do that. So I'm out of my side loading pocket. I've taken my paper out, and now I'm going to do a couple of cuts. And where's my cutting board? You always need a cutting board for this. You don't want to wreck your nice desk. I have measured these, and I know exactly where halfway is on these. So I'm just going to simply go right ahead and do it. I'm going to stick some tape on there just to help me keep it from shifting, because we know that plastic likes to move around. And just stick these down over here. I'm going to cut my 6 inches with my X-Acto knife and my metal edge ruler. You do not want to use a plastic ruler or a wooden ruler when you're using an X-Acto knife, because it will cut into it. So counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes. So I'm just going to line up my ruler with that 6-inch mark on my mat, and I'm going to run my X-Acto knife a couple of times. I'm not going to push so hard that it will shift. I'm just going to run it a couple of times. Now, I'm not going to cut off the edge. I'm going to leave about a 1/16 of an inch. You can't really see it, so let me move ahead a little. I'm going to leave this little bit so that I don't cut past this line, just because you don't want to get too close to the edge, and you need something to hold it together from front to back. All right, so and with all intents and purposes, there we go. See, I've got that little bit holding it together, and my cut goes right to the other edge, which is perfect. Okay, so now we know that we can enter from this side easily, so we're going to do the back side first. Let's take off our tape so we don't run into problems getting stuck to things. And I'm now going to use that same place, that side loading side, to insert my paper. And I'm going to work on the side that doesn't have the opening first, because otherwise I'll have difficulty getting, once I get this side all taped down that is easy to access, I'll get it'll be trickier to get in to do my taping here. All right, so my page stands this way. This is going to be the top eventually. I'm going to trim that to open. Right now, I am going to put my tape on the bottom of this upper section, and then this will end up being an open pocket. So I simply grab, I'm using 1/8 inch, I guess sequin, score, whatever, double-sided tape, and I'm going to go in, make sure that my paper is right down to the bottom, and I'm going to go in. And actually, I'm going to keep this tape down. I think it will just make it a little easier so that I don't shift around a lot. And I think I might take this out so it's all flat on the desk. There we go. And now I'm going to scooch in. Actually, I can't have that side taped. I'm going to tape under here. There we go. And I'm going to scooch in with my tape. Going to open up. I have to go under this because if I go over, then I'll have to somehow squeeze it under later, and that's trickier than just lining it up here. So I'm going right against the far wall and right where the bottom of this opening is. Come on, baby. Don't be tricky. There we go. And then I'm just going to let the paper fall, and I'm going to follow the line of the cut. And if I'm a little bit off, I'm not really worried about it, as long as it doesn't come out into the other pocket. I want it to stay on this pocket's bottom, not get stuck on this pocket's top. So now I'm just going to take my scissors and make a nice clean cut at the edge there. Most of the time I usually rip tape, but because we want it to look neat and tidy, we're going to use scissors to trim it. And then make sure it's pushed down. Now I'm just going to take the top off. If I can get it, I just trim my nails so they're short. Pull it out and let everything just rest naturally on it. And there we go. And then I just go over it with my thumb, make sure I've got it really pushed down nice and tight. So this will be our upper pocket, this will be our lower pocket, and whatever goes in here will not fall into there. So we got pocket number 1 complete. Now we're going to do another cut across here. Oops. So I'm turning it where my top is on my mat for cutting. And I'm just going to cut a little bit off. I'm not going to cut too much. Let's see. I am putting it underneath, lining the top of the plastic up with a line. And I'm going to cut maybe, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch. Doesn't really matter because it's beyond the paper anyway. And all I'm trying to do is open up the top pocket. So I'm just going to trim it about 1/8 of an inch. Again, using my ruler, my steel-edged ruler, and just going over several times. You don't want to go over, you don't want to push too hard the first time because you may go offline. And I noticed that I didn't get it quite cut up here. So we're just going to go over that a little bit more. There we go. And here we have our strip that we cut off. All right. And I think there might be a little left. Yeah. Sometimes you may get a little bit of a hair of plastic, and you just can pull that up. Like I said, no nails. Alrighty. So now if we look at that page, we have our bottom pocket and our top pocket. Okay, it's open at this side, so we will fix that when we turn it over. All right, so here we have our top and our bottom of the second page. But I want to create the pocket before I seal off the edge here, because if it's sealed off, it's harder for me to play with and get that line. So making sure that you're at the top again, you're going to open it on the other side so that you're at the top as well. Now I am going to flip it upside down just so that I can work with this bottom line a little easier. I'm going to take anything that's going to cause a bump out of my way. Put away my knife and my ruler for now. And because this side is open, it's easy peasy for me to get my adhesive lined up. So let me just stick that under there, and I can see where the edge of my lower, oops, you don't want to go that far all at once, Chris. You can see where the edge of the lower pocket is, so you can get nice and close up to that edge without going over the lower pocket, which is here. And there we go. And again, we're going to trim that nice and straight. Why not make it look pretty while we're doing it, right? Okay, and then I can just peel this off and gently roll this down and mostly let gravity take hold of that. And again, I rub it nice and stiffly so that I know it's well sealed. So now I have an upper pocket with an open side and a lower pocket with an open side. Now our trick is to seal the side. So making sure that everything is all lined up on the open side, we are going to adhere from here to there with two-sided tape. And because these are loose and not stuck down, I can get in there very easily to do that. Actually, yeah, it's all there. Okay, so now I'm just going to stick this underneath. And if it goes on top of the paper, I'm not too concerned about it. What I do want it to do is to go from top to bottom and not to be touching the hinge part, because we want to keep it loose and floppy so it works within the binder well. There we go. And then I have to lift up the plastic here, make sure I get it underneath that plastic, and go right to the end. There we go. Whoops. Closer to the paper than to the binding, because we want that plastic on the paper to go over top of the sticky stuff. And we're not going to seal it right to the top. We're going to seal it to the top of the paper because we still, oh no, we're good. We could have done it to the top of the plastic if we wanted. And now we're going to take that plastic off, or that protective top cover off, and pretty much just let nature and gravity pull down that edge. All right, so now we have a top pocket and a bottom pocket on the front. Nothing will fall out that way or that way. And we have a top and a bottom pocket on the back side. And that's it. That's all you have to do to the page. And then you can start transferring what you did over from the last time into the new pockets. So let me show you how easy that is. So I have birthday that I'm working with. I'm just going to undo my sticky bits. So I have birthday and crafting. I had the front and back in the last one. Now I'm going to have birthday and crafting on the same page, so now I can compress a little bit better. And my album is going to sit like a normal album, so I can put these on the side of the pages instead of the top, so I can fit it into a proper space without, let's start at the bottom. So this is birthday, And right beside birthday, we're going to have crafting. How do I want to do that? I think we'll do it this way. Sorry. Figuring this out, this part I haven't really thought about. So we're going to have birthday starting at the top. Oops. That helps if you don't have already sticky stuff on it. And then this is going to be crafting. And I'm going to have 2 rounds. So this will go alternating down with each page. So we'll have 2 things alternating down with every page. And now on the back, I can put my next 2 pieces, which are... Oh, first let me fill this up before I turn the page. No sense wasting time. Got to turn this around, take all my stuff out of here. So the stuff that I said was going to be birthday is going to go in the top area. And of course I have lots more birthday to put in there. And then on the back sheet I had crafting. And none of it took up that whole space. So, and I'm not going to put paper in there. So I thought, you know, it really doesn't make sense to struggle so much to get the little stuff. And here's crafting. Crafting is all going in here. We got lots of stuff in crafting. And I still have room for 12 by 12 what do you call those? Borders, if they have words on them and they deal with crafting. Got 1 or 2 more things here. There we go. So there's my crafting stuff. So birthday and crafting. And then on this side, I'm going to, oh, there's still 1 more thing in there. Come on, you. That's a crafting thing made with love. Okay, and then my next one is family. Take off the tab, family and friends. So, I think I'm going to save those, and I am just going to put a sticker on both sides here. And I have some loose stickers that I can cut to size. So just, you know, your usual house and labels stickers. And just going to guess at the sizes. I'm going to put that here because these are sticky anyway. So I want to kind of reduce the stickiness. Wow, that was a pretty good guess on that size. That doesn't always happen, does it? And across here and there. That one's a little different. And family comes first. So we're going to put family up here. Can you see me? Good. And this is going to be friends. Trying to keep it in alphabetical because that's easiest. And then I'm going to grab all my family stuff. And in my family stuff, I kind of categorized it. I didn't show you this week, but we had a lot of houses and homes and stay home. Then we had those things are real life and he said and family and cozy and homemade. And then some other kind of stickery bits. So the home stuff, there was such an amount of them, I thought it'd be better just to have them in a little tiny bag on their own so that they didn't interfere with finding the other smaller stuff and the other loose bits that I had. So that's family and then friends. And make sure I get all that out. And so all my friend stuff can go in here. There we go, play date, friends, friendship, BFFs. And then it all goes into the album in a horizontal format so that it's easier to get at. I'm using up my pages, which in this case would be my scraps, and organizing my scraps all in the one album. And I will show you a picture of this at the end of the video when I have the album completed, and you can see how much thinner it is done this way. Anyway, I will check in with you in a few minutes with my finished album. All right, everything is finished. I have it in my binder. You can see the binder is a lot less full than the last time we did it, with full pages and allowing things to kind of build up at the front because they were inside edge loading. And I'll just open it up here a little bit. Got a small space today. I got a project on the go. Have the same categories as I did before: birthday, crafting, family, inspiration, blah-de-da, blah-de-de-blah. And it worked out quite well. So, a couple of things I learned from this. First of all, probably better to do this in a, what do you call it? A 3-hole binder type album, because with a strap album, depending on how tight or far apart your pages are on the strap and how big and open you have the back when you put it back in, you can see that mine constantly wants to go back to that smaller size, but I'm forcing it to be a little bigger. You can have some problems with got some sticky stuff there. Problems with it popping open at the front and not wanting to stay closed properly, but this will close and sit on my album, not my album, but on my bookshelf that I need it for quite well. Another thing I learned is that if you don't have pages that you want to give up to do this, don't give up your good pages, because, to be honest, in doing this, without having a flap on top, these things can fall out. So if my album were to crash to the floor, I might end up cleaning up a big mess. So that also makes a difference, those flaps that come with pre-created pages. But for somebody on a budget who didn't like the pages that they had and could change them into these little flap pages, it's not a bad little project now that the kinks are out of it. So I'm going to say that's that for organizing your little bits and pieces, and I will see you next Thursday. Bye now.